Axilla is the space between the medial aspect of the shoulder and arm and lateral wall of thorax. This is the axillary region of the forelimb. To see the structures of the axilla, cut the deep pectoral muscle close to its origin from the manubrium sternum and reflect it gently towards the limb. Now, you can abduct the limb to widen the axilla so that the contents can be viewed better. This large vein is the brachial vein. This large artery is the brachial artery. These group of nerves are pectoral nerves, supplies pectoral muscles. This is supraspinatus muscle projecting in front of the scapula, and the remaining part of the muscle is visible on the lateral aspect of shoulder. This large thick nerve is the suprascapular nerve arising from the brachial plexus. It passes in the space between subscapularis and supraspinatus in company with the suprascapular artery. This is the suprascapular artery which accompanies the suprascapular nerve in the space between the supraspinatus and subscapularis and supplies them. Now, the forelimb has been removed by cutting the insertion of trapezius, serratus cervicis, serratus thoracis, rhomboideus, brachiocephalicus and omotransversarius in front of the shoulder joint. This region is the shoulder region, which is formed by the scapula. This aspect is the medial aspect of the shoulder. Just clean the fascia without disturbing the branches of brachial plexus and brachial artery. This flat bundle of nerves on the medial aspect of the shoulder and arm is the brachial plexus. It is formed by the union of ventral primary branches of 6th, 7th and 8th cervical and 1st and 2nd thoracic spinal nerves. Nerves arising from this plexus supplies the entire forelimb muscles and also part of the muscles on the lateral wall of the thorax. This is the subscapularis muscle, which has 3 fleshy parts in ox. These are the nerves supplying the 3 fleshy parts of subscapularis muscle. This long flat muscle is teres major. It is placed behind the subscapularis. This is the nerve supplying the teres major muscle. This is Latissimus Dorsi muscle. It is a wide fan-shaped muscle. Only part of this muscle is visible now, and the remaining part of this muscle can be seen on the lateral wall of thorax. This is thoracodorsal nerve arising from the brachial plexus and supplies the Latissimus Dorsi muscle. This artery is thoracodorsal artery arising from the subscapular artery supplying the Latissimus Dorsi. This is subscapular artery arising from the brachial artery, passes backwards between the subscapularis and teres major. It supplies the subscapularis, teres major and infraspinatus. This region is the shoulder lateral region. Make a vertical incision about the middle of the scapula and extend it downwards just below the shoulder joint. Make another circumferential incision around the shoulder joint. Reflect the skin flaps on either side. This is axillary nerve, which is arising from the brachial plexus. It gains the company of posterior circumflex artery and reaches the lateral aspect of the shoulder and supplies the deltoideus and teres minor. This region is the shoulder lateral region. This is the scapular spine, and the muscle situated behind this is the infraspinatus muscle, and in front of the spine is the supraspinatus muscle. This is infraspinatus muscle which occupies the infraspinous fossa behind the scapular spine. Lower part of this muscle is covered by the deltoideus muscle. This small V-shaped muscle is the deltoideus. It has two heads of origin. This is the acromial head arising from the acromion process of the scapula, and this is the scapular head arising from the posterior border of the scapula. It is inserted to the deltoid tuberosity of humerus. The tendon of insertion of deltoideus is now cut and the muscle is reflected upwards. This exposes a small muscle, the teres minor, which is fully under the cover of deltoideus and infraspinatus. This nerve on the deep face of the deltoideus is the axillary nerve, which innervates the deltoideus and teres minor. After supplying these muscles, this nerve continues down as the lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm. It runs below the scapular head of deltoideus and supplies the skin on the lateral aspect of the forearm. This is the posterior circumflex artery supplying the deltoideus and teres minor.